Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of Salman Rushdie's Joseph Anton, a memoir. A memoir is the thoughts of a person shared to his readers, and mostly it will contain about the incidents which happened in their life. It is almost like an autobiography, but unlike an autobiography which tells about their life in a chronological order and about all the details like a history, a memoir will share only their experiences and their thoughts to the readers. Now we shall see what Salman Rushdie says in his book Joseph Anton, a memoir. Salman Rushdie was born on June 19, 1947 in Bombay, and his full name is Ahmed Salman Rushdie. Later on, he was knighted by the British government, and therefore he is called as Sir Ahmed Salman Rushdie. And he is one of the most important British Indian novelist and essayist. And his first novel, Grimace, is a part science fiction tale, and his second novel, Midnight's Children, which was published in 1981, won the Booker Prize in 1981, and later in 1993 and 208, The Midnight Children was awarded as the best of the Bookers since its publication. And after Midnight Children, Rushdie also wrote Shame, in which he depicts the political turmoil in Pakistan. And this novel, Shame, won France's Best Foreign Book Award. And later on, Rushdie has published many short stories, and one among them is the short story collection East West. And later, he wrote the book The Moo's Last Sigh, which is a family epic, but it also tells about the 100 years of Indian history. And this book was published in 1995. And The Ground Beneath Her Feet projects an alternative history of modern rock music. It was his fourth novel, The Satanic Verses, which was published in 1988, which provoked the protest from Muslims, and also a death threat was made against him, which is known as Fatwa, which was issued by Khomeini, who was the supreme leader of Iran, on February 14, 1989. Later on, Rushdie was appointed as the Commander d'Ordre des Arts at des Lettres of France in January 1999, and in June 2007 Queen Elizabeth II knighted him for his contribution to literature. And in 2008 the Times ranked the best 50 great British writers since 1945, and Salman, he ranked the 13th in that list. And in 2005, his novel Shalimar the Clown received in India the prestigious Hutch Crossword Book Award, and in Britain it was the finalist for Whitbread Book Award. It was also shortlisted for the 2007 International Impact Dublin Literary Award. And his latest novel is Luca and the Fire of Life, which was published in November 2010. And earlier in the same year, he announced that he was writing his memoirs, and the title of the memoirs is Joseph Anton, a memoir. Later on, it was published in September 2012, and in 2012, Salman Rushdie became one of the best and the first major authors to embrace book track when he published a short story In the South on the platform. And since 2000, Rushdie has lived in the United States, where he has worked at the Emory University and was also elected to the American Academy of Arts and Letters. And coming to Joseph Anton, a memoir, he says that on 14th February 1989, which was a Valentine's Day, he received a telephone from a BBC journalist who told him that he has been sentenced to death by Khomeini. And it was the first time Salman Rushdie heard the word fatwa. Fatwa means death sentence. And he wanted to know what was the crime he committed, and he was told that he wrote a novel called The Satanic Verses, which was accused of being against Islam, the Prophet and the Quran. And therefore, Salman Rushdie was forced to go underground with an armed police protection team. At this time only, the police asked him to choose another name for him so that they can call him with that name. And that time he thought about the writers whom he loved, and he combined their names and made his name. That is, from Joseph Conrad he chose the word Joseph, and from Anton Chekhov he chose the word Anton, and he named himself as Joseph Anton. Therefore, his favorite writers Joseph Conrad and Anton Chekhov became his own name. And in this memoirs, he unfolds experiences of how he and his family lived under the threat of murder for over 9 years, And in spite of all this, how he continued writing, and he says it was a time which you can compare with the battle for freedom of speech. And he also says that even how small things had to be scheduled for him because he was under death threat, and how he used to lock himself in the bathroom whenever a housekeeper came to clean the house. At the same time, he says that this time also took a great stress on his relationships and also disrupted his ability to write. And he also gives a detailed description of his visit to America when he went to speak at Columbia University in 1991, where he had to fly to Washington on a Royal Air Force flight, taking a private plane to Teterboro Airport in New Jersey. And from there, he was met by a 9-car motorcade with motorcycle outrides. Then from there, he was driven to New York in an armored white stretch limo and was made to stay in the presidential suite of a hotel where there were bulletproof padded mattresses covering all the windows. And he says that perhaps 24 men holding gigantic science fiction weapons scattered through the room. So much security was given for him. And to make his life more bearable, what his security people did is sometimes they will break the rules by taking him to a movie. And how they will go is, after the lights are switched off, they will enter into the theater, and they will leave the theater before the lights are switched on. And even when his senior officers warned that he should avoid going to London, they took him to his friends' homes where he met his younger son Jafar. And Mr. Rushdie says that this fatwa forced him to come to terms with his past and his craving for love and his deepest assumptions about the world. And he also tells about his complicated relationship with his father Anas. And in this memoirs, he provides a fascinating account of how he came to write his masterpiece, Midnight's Children, which won him the Booker Prize in 1981, and how he wrote the satanic verses and also the book Shame. And in the satanic verses and the fatwa, he says that the publication of the book was on September 1988, and it caused controversy in the Islamic world because it was said that he had depicted Prophet Muhammad in a different way. And here the title refers to a disputed Muslim tradition that is related to the book. And according to this tradition, Muhammad, who is a prophet, had added verses to the Quran, accepting 3 goddesses who used to be worshipped in Mecca as divine beings. And according to the legend, Muhammad later on he revoked the verses, saying that the devil tempted him to utter these lines to appease the Meccans. Therefore, we get the word satanic verses. And the narrator later on says to the readers that these disputed verses were actually from the mouth of the archangel Jibril. And this book was banned in many countries where large Muslim communities lived. And on February 14, 1989, a fatwa saying that Rushdie should be executed was proclaimed by Khomeini on Radio Tehran. And Khomeini was the spiritual leader of Iran at that time, and he called the book as blasphemous against Islam. And also a big prize money was offered for Rushdie's death. And therefore Rushdie was forced to live under police protection for several years. And on March 7, 1989, the United Kingdom and Iran broke diplomatic relations over this controversy. And the publication of the book and the fatwa sparked violence around the world, and many bookstores which were having the copy of the books were bombed. And Muslim communities in several nations in the West went for public rallies and they burnt copies of the book, and several people who were associated with the translating or publishing the book were attacked and even killed. On September 24, 1998, as a precondition to the restoration of diplomatic relations with Iran, the Iranian government gave a public commitment that it would neither support nor hinder assassination operations on Rushdie. And early 2005, Khomeini's fatwa was again reaffirmed by the next reader Khamenei in a message to Muslim pilgrims making the annual pilgrimage to Mecca. And Iran also rejected the request to withdraw the fatwa on the basis saying that only the person who issued the fatwa can withdraw it. And the person who issued the fatwa was Khomeini, and Khomeini had died in 1989. And since he is not alive, they cannot withdraw the fatwa against Rushdie. So Rushdie still has the same fatwa against him. And this is what is said in his memoirs. If you have anything more to share, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe. Thank you.